When we were asked to evacuate our goats from Snazzy, most of you shared your opinion that I do not look like somebody who have been asked to evacuate. I didn't look too sad. And today I'm going to show you one of the reasons why I wasn't so sad. And the reason why I wasn't so sad was I was always imagining the exciting moment where I have been granted an opportunity to rebuild something new. That to me is a second chance. However, I'm going to do it if I have the funds. For some reason, that wasn't my worry, but the excitement of being able to build something new with you guys is what was keeping me going. And today is the day, and I want to show you guys, ever since this happened, even at night when I cannot sleep, all what I've been trying to do is trying to understand all the lands that I have, from basically the shape of the land, what kind of structure can I build, how am I going to design my structures, and everything that needs to go into the designing. So you can see from day one, just trying to build something. And today I want to actually take you guys to the board and show you exactly how we're going to build our structure. And I'm doing this because most of you have been following us, but you followed us in the middle of our journey. We're talking about breeds of goats. We're telling you about do this, do that. But what we were building in the beginning, you weren't there, and therefore the challenge is like, you're afraid, I'm starting next year, I'm starting this year. How do I start building? How do I start knowing? How do I even know where to put my pen, to put this, to put that? And that's what today we're going to do. So if you have been sorry for us, if you have been wondering about the future of Cemetery Farm, take this as a celebration of the opportunity that we've been given to do something new. So before I take you guys even to the land and show you exactly what we're going to do on the land, I want to take this opportunity and walk you guys through all the different things you need to do in case you buy a land. The first thing you want to do is to ask yourself, what kind of livestock farming are you going to do? So whether you're doing cattle, whether you're doing sheep, this will apply to you. So you ask yourself, what is the goal of your livestock farm? What do you want to do? Do you want to be a breeder? So if you want to be a breeder, that means that you're basically buying stocks that you're going to breed and sell them to other farmers who wants to use them for breeding as well. Or you want to be a commercial farmer. Consumption is your target. The abattoirs, or you processing yourself, that's your target. And what that means is that you're going to be breeding and selling it for meat, right? So you got to ask yourself one of these things, because each of them will have its own way and facilities and how you actually position and build your pen. Today we're going to use our farm as an example. So if you think of our farm, what are we trying to do? So the number one thing that I am trying to do, or I know I need at my farm, is water. Right? So I know I need water at my farm. I know that I will need electricity at my farm. 2, I know I will definitely need a farmhouse at my farm. I know that I will also need a feed processing center plus the storage. I always put them together because I have an idea how I want to do that. So number 4 will be feed / storage. So I already know that I'm going to have hay and I need a fund to basically store them in, and in a space to process my public feed and so on and so forth. Number 5, what do I know? I know that I need a pen. So breeding pen is going to be different than my other pen. So I know I need a breeding pen. So breeding pen is where I'm going to actually keep my breeding stock. Then I also need a sales yard, because as part of this new farm, what I also want to do is to be able to have a yard where you guys, when you want to go into farm, can come and buy breeding stocks from. And this is something I've talked about in the past, that as a farmer, if you want to go into goat farm, cattle farm, whatever livestock, if you go to the markets, whether it be Bupe or cheap, wherever, and you buy those female goats or cows there, you have already failed. Because 90% of those goats and cows there are already sick before they bring them. I've been a victim of that. We don't have any commercial farm that is happening to send their good-looking females for you to come and buy. Because as the farmer is bringing in his mind, he's not thinking that this person is buying to go and breed. He just wants to get his money. And we say it in tree that Obia Tom or something like that, right? So nobody sells their good female to you, right? So we want to create a center where we can go to farmers, outsource it, bring it together, and then be able to sell to you guys as well. So that means that when they come into our farm, we need to monitor them, we need to treat them for some time. We need to, before we sell them to you guys. That means that we need a pen, and then we will need a sales yard as well. So number 6, I look at the sales yard, but that also comes with its own pen, right? And then what else? So number 7 is a laboratory. So you guys know that AI is going to be our huge focus this year. So we need a lot of equipment and to be running experiments and so on. So we'll definitely build a lab as well. There's so many things that I can add here, but I'm going to pause here. This is defining the kind of things or vision that I have for my farm. So whatever your farm is, you need to first of all sit down. When you walk out to me and you say, Fred, I want you to set up a farm for me, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, what kind of farm? How do you envision your farm? What are the things you want at your farm? At least you should be able to list some of these basic ones. And then through my knowledge, I can ask the technical and essential ones to it for you. But you need to understand, maybe you want to build a touristic farm, right? Where you're just breeding for people to come for excursion and see and so on and so forth. So your vision will determine how your farm is structured. So if you come to our office here, you want us to build a farm for you, these are the first thing we're going to go through and agree on it. Once we do, the next thing is for us to now move to sites and understand your land. I always talk about viability of land. So not all lands are viable for what you want to do. There are some lands that if you buy, you cannot use it for livestock farming. You can probably not even use for certain type of crops, right? So a farmland for livestock needs to be dry. So if you're buying land in a swampy place, then you should know that it's not going to help you, and we are not going to approve or attach our brand to that. So what we'll do next is to take you to the land and look at your land. So when we go to your land, we have a GPS machine that we take to go around the farm to understand the size and the shape of the land. I'm going to show you the shape of my land at the moment. So the shape of our land is, don't judge my drawing, I'm not the best. So this is the shape of our land in the eastern region, and that's the land that we're going to work with today. After we've gotten the shape of this land, now the reason why I clear most of my land is to just understand the topography of the land as well. If you don't clear it, then it makes it difficult to identify where the high hills are, the low sides, which area of it is more fertile, which is not. The other thing we have to do is also to use a satellite monitorization software to also check the fertility of the soil so that we know where to put our pen and where to grow our feed. So once we have all that, now we need to know if there are any water bodies on the land. So we know that with this land, we do have a water body flowing through the land, right? And then we have a small, it's not really a water body, but it's just when it rains or when it's wet in the rainy season, I know definitely well that there's going to be water passage on the land. So I want to prepare for that. If it was certain kind of crops, I might not mind, but for livestock, I don't want to put my exercising yard in the midst of where it's going to get wet in the rainy season. Sorry, I'm going to go a little bit like this. Forgive my drawing. So this is the shape of the land that we have. So that means that if you're a farmer and you buy this land and you don't do what we're doing to understand the topography of your land, you might start your pen from here. And then you get here and realize that you've actually used a very small portion of your land to do whatever. So now with this land, what I'm looking at is picking a point from here moving all the way here, right? And then picking a point from here, moving here, and then moving here. So this is basically the space that I'm gonna play with. This could be another space, this is another space, this is another space. But what do I get here? What I get here is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So after this demarcation, basically what I do next is to come and pick these things that we've listed, all these facilities, and ask myself, where would I place these facilities to get the best out of it and to make the flowing movement and everything at the farm more conducive, right? So now I'm gonna pick number 2 because number 2 is what we're gonna be focusing on today. So if I pick number 2 is basically this. This is number 2 of our land, and this is what we're going to be working with most of our facilities. At the moment, I'm going to leave a lot of number 4 and number 1 untouched. A little bit of number 3 is going to come in here as we go into the design, you guys can see. So this is also the entrance of our land. So the entrance then comes here. So the first thing that comes to mind is basically me dividing this land again into 2. Why am I dividing it into 2? I'm dividing it into 2 because of this sales yard, right? I don't want goats that I'm selling or people that are coming into the farm to buy these goats to actually have access to my breeding stock and the laboratory. So I divide it into 2, and basically this place then becomes our breeding goat pen, their exercising yard, and then an exit bit path so that anybody that enters, if you're coming with a car, you can park your car here and then have your goats loads into it, right? Then here is gonna be our warehouse and storage. So we have our goat pen done. We have, where's our feed and storage here, right? And then now we go to our breeding pen. So our breeding pen is basically going to be here, right? So our breeding pen then stays here. We have a walking yard. And then what happens is then this becomes our pasture. And what happens once we get here is our lab. And then our pasture continues from here. And then here becomes basically a treatment center, which is combined with the yard as well, right? So now we've have our breeding pen done over there. We've had our lab done and our farmhouse. For security, we keep our farmhouse here. And don't forget, I said number 3. I was gonna use a bit of number 3. So our farmhouse actually starts right at the edge of number 2 and eats into number 3, facing number 3, so that, you know, when guests and visitors enter the farm, they are not seeing what is in front of the house, but they are seeing rather the back of the house. Access to the lab and the breeding is basically here, right? So as simple as this, with this plan, we are able to basically cover everything that we want at our farm. We can talk about so many different ways of building your pen. Depending, I'm going to clean this, but depending on what kind of pen you want to and your ideas, when you have a land, you can decide to do the center pivot system. So even if it's a square land, like I just drew, right? Even if your land is like this, you can still have that. So basically what the center pivot pen is you put your pen in the middle of it and then you grow your feed all around it. Doesn't matter the size of your land. Even if it's one plot, you can decide to go with a center pivot style of pen. So then your pen, you will have your demarcations here, right? And then you will have a path around it, where if they come out of this pen, they can walk here and access this gate to this pasture. They can walk here, access this gate to this pasture. They can walk here, access this gate to this pasture. And that's the center pivot system. That is possible as well if you want to do. I love to go with the, if you want to call it the rectangular style, or you want to call it the square. But the way I like to do my pen is go this way. This is pen number 1, number 2, number 3. Give it their playing yard. Right? So they only will come into pen number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, only when it's night or when it's very cold. They will all come and sleep together here and provide heat for each other. Early in the morning, they will all come out here and lie here. And you always want to create a path so that when you open them, then they can access their feedlot or paddock, if that's what you want to call it, and you can move them. The reason why I always want to have a lot of paddock is just to control parasites, right? So in goat farming, you probably want them to graze here about maximum 4 to 5 days. You want to move them from there to a different paddock and then go around. By the time you come, all the parasite that they themselves produce there had already died, and then they can come back to it. So you don't want them to graze here for like 3 weeks, 1 month. Your animals are going to be exposed to a lot of diseases. So they graze here 3 days, 4 days, you move them here, you move them here, you move them there, and then they come back again, and then they start the same process over and over. Again, it also gives you the opportunity to irrigate if you have water body. So in our case, we have water body here. So in case we want to irrigate, we can do that from here. But we don't need to in the eastern region. As you guys know, we're already in the dry season, but that place is still very green. So I'm really looking forward to next year, how the sementia grass is gonna look like. So this is the way I build. And I'm gonna give you guys more measurements as I take you to the field and show you exactly how we are building this pen. As a goat farmer, you might ask me, why are you building so many pens? So I built so many pens based on the stages. So if you're starting from the beginning, then all what you need is 2 pens. So you need a pen for male and you need a pen for females. Right? So when you bring your females in, depending on where you're buying it from, but I'm going to be as realistic as possible. If you're buying it from the market or you bought it from a breeder who doesn't know or doesn't do proper breeding, right? Today I was actually looking at our software, and it was listing all the goats that are going to give birth today, tomorrow, right? Because you guys know October was our breeding season, so February all our goats were going to give birth. So it was giving me that. So if you buy a goat from me, I'll be able to tell you that this goat is actually going to give birth next month, next 2 months. So you're able to plan for this. But if you're buying it from outside, then you need a pen for the males, a pen for the females. If you're a new farmer, take this from me. You don't want to miss your males and females. I've done a lot of videos talking about the reasons why we don't do that. So you have separated male and female. Your next pen is going to be for your pregnant goats. So the moment these females get pregnant, you got to move them from here, right? I'm going to have to add 1 more pen. Then you're going to move them from pregnant to lactating. Right? So you move them from pregnant to lactating the moment they give birth. And in this pen, you're going to see that we're going to build a nice lactating mom pen as well, where you guys can see as we go along this journey. So lactating, and the moment the kids are, depending on when you want to win them, what your program is, 3 months, 6 months, 4 months, depending on your structure, you win them. So the moment you win them, you move them from here, and then these become the kids. This gives you an opportunity to really manage their feeding, manage their medication, and everything. So in actual sense, you're doing about 5 different pens that here to be able to cater for this. Even if it's 3, 3, 3,
you need that 5 different pens. And that's why as a farmer, you need to understand how many goats do you want to start with, what is the maximum number you want to get to, so that you can guide the sizes you actually use in building this pen. So this is the kind of design we're going to take out there and build. And sometime this week I'm going to go to the field and walk you guys through basically how we are building everything, the steps that we are taking, the materials we are using, the cost of what we are building, so that you guys will have that information. But if you have any questions about this, please get in touch, write in the comments below. We will answer you. Our phone number is also there. If you have a farm and you like what you're doing and you want us to come and help you as well, contact us. I'm also going to use this opportunity to really train the carpenters that are going to build our pen and prepare them to be able to come and help you guys as well. Don't forget, this is an unbudgeted project. So if you guys want to support us, also build this pen and build this farm, come along with us. There is a link below that you can click on it, donate to us any amount that you can to help us achieve this. I think it will go a long way, and I know we are in this with you. Hopefully this information is helpful. Let us know in the comments what you think, and if you haven't subscribed, then I don't know what you're waiting for. We have a lot of this information coming your way all throughout this project. So subscribe and hit the notification bell so that anytime we have a video, you will be notified to come and watch. I will see you at the farm, excited as I am, so that we can all together build a new cement shell farm together.